Well, hello out there. Hopefully you can hear me. We've got road noise, we've got wind, we've kind of got everything, and we're in a different place. We've got concrete. Exciting times. So firstly, apologies for the lack of videos. I've just had a lot going on, really, to be honest. I've still been working away, but lots of cars to do, lots of similar jobs, to be honest, lots of motor bearings and stuff that kind of were lining up and just needed to get done and weren't that exciting because I've done them all loads of times and shown it to you loads of times. Passing car. But this is a bit more interesting. So this is a car I bought off a customer. Basically, it had a DC-DC failure, which is quite common around this age. This is a 17 plate. So around that sort of 2015 to 2017, they have DC-DC failure. The DC-DC converter is inside the stack, which I've removed. But yeah, so you have to take all that stack out to replace it. It also had a water ingress issue from the windscreen. Customers put tape across the top there to try and solve that. So it kind of had general weirdness from moisture issues. He had a garage replacing ECU and that seemed to help, but then it broke down again. And it just kind of had a lot of issues. So I said to the customer, realistically, I don't think we should be fixing this car. And because you know what could basically happen is I take a chunk of his money, do the DC-DC converter, then afterwards the car still breaks down, and that is like the complete opposite of what I want to do with my customers. That's what main dealers do. They take your money and your car's still not fixed, whereas that's just not what I do. I want to be confident that when I'm taking a reasonable amount of money from someone, the car's going to be fixed, and I just couldn't guarantee that. So customer was happy with that, so I just bought the car off him for parts, basically. Interestingly, as I was taking it apart, I actually found it had the neutral pin burn issue. If you hold on a sec, I'll go and we'll go to the stack. Okay, the lighting in here is not very good, but this is the stack I've removed from that car, and it's got this issue. Can you see in there? Yeah, that crispy neutral. Not the easiest to see, but yeah. I mean, you can see that it's not good. Yeah, light's not great, apologies, but she looks better in person. Yeah, it's not good, is it? So I'm really glad we didn't try and fix that car. We would have had to replace this filter as well, plus the charging socket, because the socket and the wiring all comes as one. So definitely the right decision to, yeah, hold on one sec. Sorry, just wiggling my way out there. Yeah, definitely the right decision to not fix this car. Totally happy with that. So then what happened? So this car did run and drive, but with some warnings, and like the battery was good, motor was okay, but the passing truck, yeah, the neutral pin was burned, charging socket wiring was damaged from that burn, and the DC-DC was gone. So yeah, good battery, good motor, other good bits. So I bought this car just as spares, and pretty much at the same time another customer needs a battery, basically. So bought a car from Coparts, doesn't run. When I got it, battery is dead, so a high voltage battery will not communicate at all, literally nothing from it. Tested it with a voltmeter, it is dead, totally dead. So I said to the customer, well, I don't think we can repair that. I wasn't initially sure what happened to it, but then it rained, and the footwell area, so it's not this car, but just to show you where, basically you've got the battery isolator under here, which I have to warn you, you need to be extremely careful with, because there is full battery 400 volts in here. But yeah, in the sort of this area around here, the sort of carpet, the foamy, yeah, foam and carpet area was absolutely soaking. And through some testing, basically worked out that from this top corner of the windscreen there was a massive leak. It was literally dripping onto the steering wheel when I tested it, and that's probably what killed the battery. So yeah, basically I'm preparing to take the battery out of this car. We're going to put it in the other one. I've actually tested the other car, so I've got my battery extension cables that I've shown previously, because on a battery there's two cables that go to it. I can show you here because it's all really easy. So these are the two cables that go to the battery. So the high voltage cable, so that just literally goes down and there's a connector, and then this is the comms to the battery, which just goes to a connector. Just two connectors on the Zoe battery. It is air cooled, but that comes through vent holes in the back. The air cooler is mounted to the car rather than to the battery, which is handy. So yeah, I've got my extension cables which extend the comms and the high voltage, and I've tested the customer's car with another Zoe part next to it, one of mine, And yeah, connected his car to my good battery, and it went into ready mode. I actually put it on charge as well, so I've tested it. I literally spun the wheels because I had it jacked up so they could get underneath. So I've spun the wheels, I've charged it. So I said to that customer, right, if we get a good battery, your car will work. So you can't tell you about minor things, but it will start, drive, charge. So yeah, customer said, can you get me a battery? And I was like, ooh, a bit later when I'd negotiated with this car, I said, actually, I can. Now, it's one of those things, because I don't really want to do battery swaps. I'm not really set up for it. I haven't got a lift, and they're just big and heavy to move around. And I kind of thought, you know, should I get a garage to do it? I know a few garages, but chatting to them, it's not really something I want to do. We've got to transport 2 vehicles there. One will drive away, the other one's got to be transported back. I couldn't drive this one because although it moves, it had a suspension issue. With the DC-DC converter, it would be in limp mode and it would break down and all that kind of stuff. So transport 2 cars there, drive one away, transport one back. Then you've got the old battery, what do you do with that? All these kind of issues, and the cost was just astronomical, basically. It's just not cost effective. So pretty much any cost effective way is for me to find a way to do it. So that's what we're doing now. So yeah, I am round the corner at my father-in-law's. He has got some reasonable concrete. It's better than my gravel. And yeah, so I've only got this car here that's the donor battery, but we're going to get this one out. I think it needs to go higher, but we're going to kind of get it all loosened and get the under trays off and stuff, and just kind of get the battery on the floor, I reckon. Going to get that on my homemade trolley, and yeah, have that battery sitting under there. And then probably tomorrow, we'll drag the other Zoe round and then put it next to it, pretty much do the same, get the battery out, and yeah, swap them over. Yeah, and one of the challenges, I've talked about this before, is with recycling the lithium batteries. So I generate quite a lot of metal waste. My father-in-law sort of collects metal from his friends and stuff as well, and he's got an account at the scrap metal place, and he's got a big trailer. So he takes scrap down there, and he asked them about lithium batteries, and they don't know what to do with it. So it's a big metal recycling place, and they got weighbridge cars constantly in and out, vans and trucks and trailers and all that kind of stuff. Big trucks full. So they're really not a small player. It's not like a tiny little metal yard. It is a big national company, and they don't know what to do with lithium batteries. So they've literally got a stack where they're taking them out of tools and stuff like that, power tools. They're just in this pile in the corner. They don't know what to do with them. So kind of my plan with the battery that I'm taking out of the other one is to bolt it back under this car, because they don't know what else to do with it. And then if I scrap that car, that just becomes someone else's problem, or are people going to say they don't want it? I just don't know. I don't know. So I've got various other modules as well. And getting quotes for the battery recycling. Companies are quoting me like £1,000 for a truck to come and pick it up, because no courier wants to move failed lithium batteries. Not really surprising. So yeah, nobody's designed, I guess, a safe case that's fireproof and all that, and just de-risks it. Somebody needs to, I think. The truck could just then, maybe they can deliver to you and then you fill it up and drop it, I don't know. Something like that. So yeah, thousands for the truck, and then they wanted like £2 a kilo to recycle the batteries, and it ended up, it was thousands. Just mental. So even like 3-4 EV batteries all at once, so like a ton and a bit of batteries, was still not cost effective. You know, it didn't cover the cost of the truck. They still wanted a lot to recycle it. So yeah, these batteries are just sitting around at garages. Someone needs to sort that out. So yeah, we shall see what happens. So anyway, I'm going to get on with this. I think this needs to go higher. I just got it on axle stands because I've taken the stack out, just to make that easier. But I may well put the wheels back on and put it on the blocks, just because it's easier to jack it out basically and get more height, because I think it needs to go three blocks up. And I'll need the wheels on anyway for just basically putting this car out of the way somewhere, just to strip it for parts. So because if anybody needs any parts off this, so the headlights, bumper are gone. I've got the radiator pack. I mean, I've got doors. These wheels are quite nice, but I will need some wheels. I think I've got some old steels, but yeah, I will need some wheels just to have this thing movable. But yeah, like lights, rear lights, seats, I don't know, dash, boot. Yeah, if you need bits. Yeah, you're not too far from sort of Essex area. I'd much rather you come and collect them because it takes ages to package some of these plastic bits up. I'm actually sold. One guy said, have you got this plastic trim that goes here? Because his flew off. And the dealer wanted something like 130 quid. Mental. So yeah, I popped it off. There's only one little clip. You can see a hole there. It clips in there. That clip broke when it came off, but he was more than happy. But packaging it up, just a pain in the backside, trying to keep a bit of plastic safe. And that's why I don't do body spares, basically. And I'm a drivetrain specialist. So there we go. So I'm going to crack on, see if we can get this battery on the floor. Yeah, basically aim for today is get this battery so that it can come out, and then get tomorrow other car over, up, a battery out, and then swap them over and get that other one in. So we will see how far we can get. Obviously if I had a lift and like a garage and all that, it would be far easier, but then it's not cost effective to do it kind of the proper way. It sort of works as long as I do it my slow way. Really weird, the weird economies. But yeah, running a garage is extremely expensive, whereas concrete blocks and borrowing a concrete drive is very cost effective. So and that actually becomes really apparent when I talk to garages and they're like, oh, we've got this car on the ramp, what can we do, and I say, oh, you know, look for some bits. Oh, we can't afford to have the car on the ramp for 3 days and whatever. You know, if I have a delay, that can sit here. It actually has been sat here for a couple of weeks, just because of the heat and everything. I haven't been working on it, and that's not an issue. I'm not drowning in overheads, so I've got time to investigate these issues. You know, if we have a problem with this car, I'll just keep doing it. I've got a Mitsubishi i-MiEV backup base that I fixed one fault on. Now it's got another fault, but that's kind of on hold. But it's sat in my workshop. But my workshop doesn't have massive overhead, so I don't have lots of staff. And yeah, it's all good. I've got my plastic workshop and it works for me. It's all good. So, you know, feel free to flame me in the comments, tell me that I'm going to kill myself, the cars are going to fall over, all that kind of stuff. People usually do. One day I'll get a proper lift. But yeah, an actual lift is not that expensive. Sort of 1,500 gets you a reasonable 2-post lift. But unfortunately, the building that goes around it and the insurance and all that kind of stuff for that building is then a lot more expensive. So that's how things go. But right, I'm going to crack on and I will catch you in a bit. Okay, it is the next day. So yesterday I got this battery on the floor. It looks a little high there to come out, but it is on some bits of wood just to keep it totally like square, basically. Oh, my phone's moaning about this battery usage. So yeah, that should be all right. So that one's ready to come out. Then this is the car that it's going into. So this has got a totally dead battery, won't communicate, 0 volts, totally dead. And yeah, we just got to swap them over, just like that, really. So I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to try and drop this battery onto the floor and then lift the car up, just to save the lowering of the battery, basically, just to make it slightly easier, partly because we're going away this weekend, and I could really do with this afternoon to, like, I don't know, pack and stuff. Apparently that's something you need to do. So yeah, I could really do with getting this done this morning and then getting out of here. So yeah, let's see how it goes. All right, cool. And this car came from Coparts. Every time I look at it, I find something else that's missing. So it's got no 12-volt battery clamp. I have got the wipers, I just took them off. But the rubber trim around there is missing, so that's going to get robbed off that vehicle. Then you can see like odd bolts, and then there's bolts missing here. There's also a plastic clip, which is really hard to see, but you see that white bit, which it won't focus on. So that is the gear selector. It does the parking lot, really. It doesn't really do anything else. You can just about see a white plastic clip there. That was missing, and the gear thing was just flopping around. There's under trays missing. I don't know if the fuse box cover fits just like, but yeah, kind of annoying, but customer wants the car to be fixed. They're happy with my price, so we got to do it. Yeah, it's not going to be a perfect car, but yeah, that battery's good. It'll be a functional car, so let's get it done. Right, okay, so next stage is complete. So that battery is now unbolted, sitting on those trolleys. All we've got is the inconvenience of a car in the way. So see under there, yeah, so it's on my dollies. They're like wheel dollies. If you've got a car that's dead, you put them under the wheels, push them around. They're just quite low and quite strong, which is good. I have got another trolley, but it's got a dead Kangoo battery on it, and I couldn't be bothered to move that. This was easier. So the other good news is I've moved the bits of wood from under this battery, and we've got clear air there. So that's ready to slide out. So all we need to do is lift this car up similarly with the old 3-block trick, and then the battery will be sat on the floor. Obviously move that one out of the way, then get this battery, push it under there, lift it up. We could bring the car down, but that's going to be more difficult because you've got like locating pins, like these pins. So obviously when you're lowering a battery down, it's going to come out in the right place because it's in, but trying to get it up with limited sort of ability, kind of when I take the blocks out, I lower one side of the car down, so trying to make sure that's in, and you know, it's going to be a bit of a faff. So I think we lower the other one, lift the car up and then lift the battery up, I reckon, but we shall see. This is an invention of mine, custom made, so some people might say, why have you still got the isolator socket in? So this is not a safety plug, it's just a case from an old one, because Zoe batteries have full battery voltage in that socket. You have to be extremely careful. That's pre-contact to that socket, so that's literally connected to the cells. That's the output from the cells before the contactors, the main relays. So I basically took a spare safety fuse, gutted it, and sprayed it green. So this is my safety cover, which I quite like. Custom made, so that keeps that safe. Don't have to tape it up and then take it off and it's all sticky or any of that nonsense. It's all good. Right, so next stage I'm just going to retrieve my jacks from there. Quite good, those. Get a good lift. You can get them when they're low, you can get them under a Zoe, and 16 centimeters high, and then you can see the lift on it is like more than the height of the jack. Quite like those. They were quite good. They're only about 50 quid each. Not bad. Right, and it obviously moves it up straight. When I used to do this, I used to do it with normal trolley jacks, but a trolley jack has a tendency to pull forwards because the arm, as it moves up, is obviously going backwards. So yeah, it has a tendency to yank the car, and if you've got the rear like on blocks and then you're doing the front, you don't want to drag it obviously to the front of the blocks. You want it to be in the middle. So yeah, it's all good. The other thing about lifting it up like this is the car is lighter, so it's just lost 300 odd kilos, hasn't it? So yeah, it's all good. Right, let's do it. I'm going to get flamed in the comments for this video. Oh, get a lift, do it safely. Oh, it'd be all right. Come on. The benefit of a Zoe has got a parking lock on the front, so effectively on this car, front and back wheels are locked. On this car, let me just check. No, there's no parking lock on that one, but I've got these bits of wood with screwed in sort of stops, so they can't roll off there. Handbrake is very firmly on, so yeah, and we're on some mostly flat concrete, so yeah. Right, let's do it. Okay, we're not doing too bad. So I basically worked out that with the front on 2 and the back on 3 of my blocks, that's enough to get the battery out, because it's got a cooler part at the back. Well, it's the battery doesn't contain the cooler. I think I said this earlier, but yeah, the battery's got a lump in the back of it anyway for the cold air to go in. So yeah, that one is now free to pull out. So I'm going to pull that one out, move some of my stuff and just drag it down here, and then just literally get that one, push it straight across there, and then do the process in reverse. I could lower the car a little bit. Yeah, I might do that. Sorry, I'm puffing. It is really warm and I need to get this done, so I'm working fairly quickly. Right, but we're doing okay. This is all right, you know. Some people will probably say it's terrible, but you know, doing it on concrete is a lot better than gravel. I can tell you that. I definitely need to fill up my water bottle. So yeah, it's all good, isn't it? It's all good. There is hope for me to get this done by lunchtime-ish and go and pack some clothes for the weekend away. Yeah, cool. Right, deep breath. Let's do it. Okay, interesting development. So I talked about the windscreen leak and thinking about whether that's what killed the battery. Pulling it out, check this out. Absolutely soaking wet. So yeah, we got damp on top of the BMS, I believe that is battery electric control. Yes, indeed. And if we just look down there, kind of between the cells, if I'm not blocking the light with the camera, you can see some of the corrosion down there. I can't really say. I mean, it's just soaking in there. So we know definitely that's what's killed the battery, because water's gone into it, and then it's kind of evaporating up into the and then condensing on the sort of cooler unit. The downside is that obviously the water is here, the water is also condensed up into the cooler unit. So if we look up here, you see there, yeah, really damp. So if I put the other battery in here now, that is going to drip into the new battery. So effectively we are at a stop, because that's going to damage the new battery. So I kind of got to leave this now, haven't I? It will evaporate, but yeah, I don't think, see, there's probably water in here. That's the thing, because that bit will evaporate, so it's kind of this way up, but this is the cooler unit, so I'm coming on underneath it here, so there's probably water literally inside here. So do we need to take this off and drain it out? Because we don't want any water inside the battery. Interesting. Let me have a think. Right, so I think what we've got to do now is take that ducting off the cooler unit. We can't put the new battery in, that's a waste of time, because that one's just going to get wet. And what I'm really concerned about is moisture. Hold on, cooler. So if we get right in here, I'm just going to move this mat. Hold on a second. Okay, right. So now we are underneath the car where the battery goes. So this is the cooler unit, battery sits up under here. And then there's ducting that runs down here, and then this is the actual cooler unit. Not sure how much I explained of that. So you can see these AC pipes that run under the car all the way from the front. There's valves that go to these. Yeah, sorry, just reading a message from the customer, because I sent him a video first. So yeah, then the AC, got AC pipes here, got low and high pressure, it's got big and small ones. So yeah, go into this cooler unit. So there's literally like an aircon radiator, just like you got to cool inside the car, but this one's to cool the battery, so you can turn this on when it's charging, for example, and blow nice cold air into here. And then it gets exhausted kind of back through. So yeah, quite a cool little system. So a little rad and a fan in there. But what I'm concerned about is water has evaporated and condensed into here. Some of that is undoubtedly going to have run down here, isn't it? So I can't just leave this, because there might be like half an inch of water sitting in the bottom of it. So all this plastic ducting has got to come off. Hopefully I can do that without kind of removing anything else too serious. Some interesting sort of non-access that screws on top of there as well, and one over the other side as well. So it's going to be a little bit fun and games, but there's literally no point in putting a battery in here if we think it's going to get damp. There's just no point. So yeah, I'm just wondering if there's anything else we can do. If we had the lid off the battery, I would get some of the desiccant bags, you know, like when you buy tools and stuff and you get that little do not eat, that's it's silica gel, I think. You can get big fat ones of those, like 500 gram bags. You could chuck a couple of them in the battery just to remove any residual moisture, but what we'd probably do is take this ducting off, see how easy it comes off, how much moisture's in it. If it comes off really easy, we'd get the ducting off the other car. Maybe that could work. But if there's any damp in that unit, we've got to let that dry out. So we'll probably leave that over the weekend with this open, take this off because that's wet, either put that in the sun or just rob the one off the other car, basically. So yeah, I've told the customer, obviously that message from the customer just now is him saying, could the moisture have come from anywhere else? Well, I think it's pretty unlikely. We know that there was a windscreen leak. We know that the footwell was damp because I had it, and that's where the battery isolator is. And other than that, it's going to have come down into here. But you can see the seal there, and similarly here, because you can sort of see where the water's gone up to and then it's stopped where the rubber seal is. Sorry, you lose focus when I put my hand in front of it. But yeah, so you can see like a tide mark, but it's not kind of outside of there. It's kept it inside. So it's incredibly unlikely the water's come from here. And water leaks on Zoe's batteries are really uncommon, apart from when you get a wet footwell. So it's one of those where you can't 100% guarantee, but it's kind of like, well, it's about a 99% chance really. So yes, we do what we can do. So yeah, customer is obviously keen to have it fixed, so we press on. Right, let's see how easy all this stuff comes off. So I'm guessing that it doesn't almost look part of the same thing, but these do. I wonder whether they clip in. We'll find out. Hopefully we can get this whole unit off, kind of get the bolts off, angle this back part down and move it forward. So it's all fun and games. Oh my word, why do I do this? And I was going to have it done and dusted in a day. Oh well. Well, in today, because I started yesterday. Right. We press on. Let's get this off. Cool. Well, it's times like this that make me think, why do I do this for a living? The good news is I'm out of the sun. So I want to remove these ducts. I've pretty much unbolted this top plastic bit. This is all just plastic ducting. The top ones unbolted, they're all easy. So these bottom ones have got these Torx underneath, T20s, like every Torx on these Renaults. But you can see the one there. See that bolt? How am I meant to get to that? There's a duct here. It bends that way. I'm just like, what? This one is similar. I don't know if you can even see them. I'll move my torch. The torch is probably running out. Hang on. Hold on, caller. You see that bolt? It's there! It's like, come on. Similarly up here. Where are we? Oh, I can't even. Ah, they're sort of downwards facing dog. Are they in there? I can't really get it to focus, but there's probably a couple of bolts in there as well. I think there's one there, it just won't focus on it. If I put it on manual focus, then it'll focus. Have we got one there? There's one at the right there. You can probably see better than me. Is that one on the right? I think so. Yeah, there's a bolt, isn't there? So basically I have to remove this ducting. Customer actually just called and very kindly said, oh, for speed, you know, because I said to him I was going to be delayed, I'm afraid, which is annoying. He said, for speed, when I swap the cooler, I'll buy the cooler and the ducting off the old car, swap them over. So I said to him, it's not a small job, and I was hoping to finish sort of by kind of mid-afternoon at the latest today, so I can get away. So it, you know, we got to, I mean, you know, it's not a quick job anyway, swap them over. So we got to get these off anyway. So we'll continue with that plan. So I've got to undo these bolts. I'm just trying to work out whether I can drop this cooler unit down a little bit. So I've undone the under tray there. I might have to go and get some technical diagrams. There's a bolt there, that's holding in the cooler unit. Can't see anything at the other side. Are there bolts over there? What's holding it in? Because I was kind of thinking, if I can just undo those bolts a little bit, just drop it down like a centimetre, then I should be able to access like that bolt, you see. Presumably this is made as one unit, the ducting and the cooler unit, and then fitted up into the car. Hence the bolts are like completely inaccessible. So we need to find there's no bolts on that side. Ah, it's all good fun, isn't it? I'll turn that up. So I don't know. I might undo that one and just see if it does just drop down. But obviously I don't want to damage that unit. If there's a little bit of wiggle, it might just give me enough. It does move. Yeah, that you can kind of tell that side of the cooler unit isn't really fixed in. So maybe that'll enable me to drop it down and get to these bolts. Who knows? But got to get this ducting off. And the good thing, a really nice experience under here is when you use your gun to undo the bolts, it vibrates it and the water drips on you. Oh, old. I mean, it's been in a battery, that water, but it has evaporated and condensed. So maybe it's clean. I don't know. Probably won't do me any harm. Right. Well, the anyway is onwards, isn't it? So let's undo that bolt. See if we can move this unit down a little bit. And then get to those top ones and get this blooming ducting off and see what we got. All right. Okay. Right, so I've got the ducting off. That was not fun. So the AC pipes are actually screwed to the top of that ducting. So I've had to undo them, undo the pipes. Fortunately, it's got no gas in it. And so then wiggle it down so that I can undo that. I've had to take off the pipes off clips here, remove these clips, these ones that were holding this brake hose, I think, just to give me enough access. I finally wiggled that out. Loads of water in there. Actually, water like gushed out when it came off. So that is that. Now, this is the cooler unit. This is kind of cool because you don't normally get to see this stuff, albeit I would rather fix cars, not just find more problems. So it's shallower here, so there's not, I mean, it's a little bit damp, but not loads. I will dry my fingers, and then if we go in here, it's hard to get right down to the bottom. Not too much in there. One of the sides did really feel like it got water in. It's hard to tell because it's so hot and I'm kind of sweaty. I wonder if I can get my phone in there. Can I get you in there? That's not a bad idea, actually. Right, if I wrap the head torch around, we're going in. Can you see anything? Or is it just a torch? Right, so I managed to turn the recording off as I was doing that. So what I've managed to do, I tried it with the camera and stuff, it's just so close you just can't focus on anything, but I managed to shove my hand in this hole where it's quite low and there's no water in the bottom, basically, because this is like a box, so I was concerned this could have water in it. So it hasn't, but well, it hasn't got water sitting in the bottom, it's just got like a bit of residual dampness. I don't know if you can see, but yeah, not so much. But just inside here, there is a few drips. So no vast amount, so that's kind of good. Now I'm hoping with the hot weather, if I just leave this, then this will dry out. Then this ducting I've got to put in the sun, basically, because this has literally got water. Sorry, if I actually have the camera in the right place, literally got water in it. You know, a whole load of water came out of it. So yeah, it's hard because in here it's shallow and in here it's deeper, whereas the water seems to have been going in here. But you know, how far do you go? Do you bill the customer another couple of hours for changing this? You know, you gotta take all these pipes off and stuff and take the one off the other car versus the risk. I don't know really, to be honest. Do we get some desiccant bags and shove them in the bottom of here? Maybe that's an idea, to be honest. Yeah, you don't want to block the airflow though. So, yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? How far to go. And if you can see in there, if I just put the light on, you can see there are sort of pipes in there and stuff. Yeah, so I've had a feel around those pipes. Oh, actually, we've not got a bad shot there, have we? Yeah, so that is dry in there. Let's try and do the same on this side. So these are the low bits. I'm going to be turning it off again like I did last time. Oh, there you go. Oh, there is water in there, isn't there? There you go. That answers that question. There's water sitting inside it. Oh, fun and games, isn't it? Right, I think what I'm going to try and do is split this box. It was probably sealed at the factory though. But there is a seal there, isn't there? Do you think it comes cleanly in half? Probably not. And the AC pipes on the bottom or the top? On the bottom. Yeah, I don't know. I think we've probably got to replace this cooler unit. Oh, it's just a pain, isn't it? It was definitely damp in there, wasn't it? Let's go. Yeah. That's not just going to evaporate, is it? Well, that answers that question. I think, to be honest, I've got to replace this cooler unit and I'm going to do it next week. Ah, dear, oh dear. Bit of a nightmare. The real pain is that these are the seals that quite commonly leak. So, and if they leak, you've got to have these pipes replaced and you've got to take the battery out to replace them. So you replace these pipes because these have got the seals on. So, if I don't get this back together perfectly and it leaks, battery's got to come out again. So, you know, I will explain this to the customer. That is just a risk. He can stop now if he wants to, just pay me for the time spent, or we can carry on. It's up to him. So I like to be very upfront with people. Yeah, we suspected water was in the battery, but yeah, you don't really know the extent of it until you get it out. I really dislike charging people more money once I've quoted them for a job, but in this situation, it's a car from Coparts. It's got an unknown history. you advise people as much as you can, but you literally can't know everything until you start stripping it down. So I think that's going to be it for today. I don't think I'm going to be able to get the bottom off this cooler unit. To empty it out, we're going to have to get it off and tip it up anyway. We might as well just replace it. So it's got to be done. It's all fun and games, isn't it? Right, I will catch you next week, really. Won't be long for you, but yeah, it'll be next week for me, and we'll sort this cooler unit. All right. Okay, we are back to tidy up this mess, get this car sorted out. So there was water in the battery cooler unit, but that was last week, and it is actually Thursday of the next week. I have a slightly old working pattern, which you can do if you're, well, if you're your own boss. And basically, I had another car to work on. This one's obviously taking longer than expected, so I had another one that I needed to do. So it's been here a good few days in the heat, and if we look inside this battery cooler unit now, you're going to have to go sideways. So hold on. So if we look inside, can we, how good's that view? Oh, the side of the ducting turned off the phone. So we'll try and, let's do it this way, see if that works. We can see in there, oh, it's not a great shot. But still, if I just, can that focus? Struggling, but there's no visible moisture. Where there was moisture there, it's really hard to get that to focus. I think you probably get the idea. It's not shiny. Yeah, you can just about see down there. Yeah, so it's not damp in there at the moment. So I'm half tempted to leave this here. It being an aircon unit, it should be sort of designed for moisture, because you're going to get condensation on these. So it should be quite, yeah, sort of designed, like the electrics and stuff should be designed to have dampness around them. So I think this will be okay. There's just no guarantee. So I'm going to put it to the customer that we just leave this here. It might be a silly thing to do because it might not work, but these tend to be pretty reliable. And it's kind of a pain to move. It's really just up to the customer because of the time and effort. Obviously, if we then have to do this at a later date, then that's really annoying. But yeah, this is one of the issues people have. If I just move backwards, is with these pipes. Basically, you can get a leak here. Because I've done manual focus, we're now on manual focus. You can get a leak on this joint, and it's above the battery. So that's one of the issues people have with the battery cooler, and AC leaks. Basically, it's all common-ish, not mega common, but yeah, it's quite fascinating under here actually. These are the battery mounting points. I just love it when you see stuff like this. It just looks so sort of homemade. That one looks a bit more like someone intended it to be there, but just like kind of random spaces here and stuff. You think, did they really design it like that? Or like, is the 40 battery a tiny bit deeper and then they just added that bar? I don't know. Interesting. Anyway, right, I'll see what the customer wants to do, but we may leave that there on the basis I think it'll be okay. Water's just collected in there, and now it's out. Interesting. Okay, so I've debated it with the customer. I mean, I'm happy to do whatever sort of customer wants to do, really. Lots of garages probably, given the fact that I've got one of these just over there, would probably just sell it to the customer just to get the money, but that's not what I do, really. This is entirely up to the customer. I've said to the customer, I think this unit will be okay. You know, it must be designed to take a bit of moisture because it's an AC unit. It's a sealed box. They'll always get a tiny little bit of moisture in, I would think. You know, yeah, I don't think it'll be okay. We're going to disturb more taking it out in terms of these AC pipes and things. We're risking leaks. And this really has dried out. It's been quite a few days. It's been really warm. There's no visible moisture at all. So yeah, I said to the customer, I think it'll be okay, and he said, yeah, use the existing one. There's obviously a labour time involved in replacing this as well, because it's not easy. It sort of comes out of the whole unit with these AC pipes and the ducting. Yeah, that's why these are covered up, because this is obviously made as one unit and then just all slotted in all at once. But it is over this rear axle beam. Sorry, it's really cramped under here, so it's kind of hard to get a good shot. But yeah, there's the rear under tray there. That's kind of part of the bumper. So yeah, customer says reuse that one. So I've got to have a little bit of a fight with this ducting to get that back on. I'll check that that's dried out, but I mean, it's been so hot that that's actually quite helped us, really. Cool. this is good. That makes it easier. That makes it easier. Right, good stuff. So I've just got to get that ducting on and basically get these top screws in. That's going to be the difficult bit, but once they're in, we're all good basically. Right, cool. Let's do it in reverse. Get this sorted, get that ducting fitted. I've got various clips and things off, sort that out. Yeah, get the battery over here, get it up, and it'll be all good. I haven't actually decided yet which way I do it, because I've got the battery over there ready to go. Whether I bring it over here and lift the battery up and get it all bolted up, or I do the sort of way I took it out, where I bring the car down on top of the battery, and then I don't have to lift the battery as far. It's a little bit more awkward with the bolts, but less lifting of the battery. So yeah, it kind of makes it easier. Just got to make sure basically that the like pins, you can see that pin there, they've got their like locating holes. That's the main thing, and then it all lines up. We'll see, we'll work that out in a minute, but yeah, I've got all these kind of bits off and stuff just to make wiggling those stuff down easier. But right, let's get that sorted and then we'll think about the battery. Cool, let's do it. Right, so I've got the ducting on, just having a bit of fun and games with these screws. So where's the light? Oh, it's up there. So you can see we've got 4 on each one. The thickness of plastic around these is really thin, so I'm sort of pulling the cooler unit down to put them on. I don't know if you can quite see that one there in the corner. That plastic's just deformed a little bit. It's so hard, it's so thin there. So you're kind of trying to hold them both down to get it on, but you can't just put one on and use it to pull the ducting on, because it just deforms the plastic. It's not that thick. This one is so inaccessible. So I've got my angle bit there, and if I keep still, it'll actually focus. So yeah, so we've obviously got three, like the 3 ducts, 1, 2, 3, but this one just goes this way and covers up this. So yeah, I've just about got that in the right place, and I'm very slowly, it'll focus, maybe. There we go, slowly doing that one up. So a bit fun and games. You can see I've got a bolt down there, that's on the corner of the cooler unit to pull it down, but yeah, it's going okay. We'll get this up, obviously got to get everything clipped on, but you know, you pop certain, sort of pop this, oh, a lot of glare. Pop this one off, hopefully you can see that. Yeah, just to allow this to pop past it, but we are getting there, just sort of show you how immensely inaccessible it is. Right, I'm gonna get the rest of this bolted up and we will go from there. Cool. Okay, so that cooler and all those ducts and everything are all back on, everything's clipped up, all the AC pipes, everything is on. So I've just pushed over the battery from our donor red car under here, just getting this kind of wiggled into the right place. It's not bad. We're a little bit uneven here, just because this is a concrete drive and there's a drain under there, just water drain, so it's kind of angled slightly in, so it's a little bit difficult getting it lined up. But I think what I'm going to do is just lower at least that block down and then see where we are, because there doesn't seem much point lifting the battery up to then bring it down with the car. So if we can get the car down kind of accurately on top of it, maybe on one block, maybe one block all round, just give me a little bit more access underneath, and then we'll just lift it up. If we can get it fairly lined up, maybe just lift it up on the lifts. We'll see. Right, let's do it. Okay, my word, it is warm, but we are cracking on. So the car is down on one block each side, so you have to be really careful when you do this. Basically, you don't crush the battery, because if it's not quite in the right place, because they fit really snugly, there's not a massive clearance sort of sides, and obviously there's an extra lump there. They're rarely a sort of an even shape, and even if they are, obviously you can be close on the corners because they're going to be reasonably deep. So yeah, I got this down. I'm going to do it like this. It's going to give me reasonable access underneath, but I don't have to lift the battery too high. But we also need to be able to wiggle the battery around to get the bolts lined up. So it's a little bit of a jiggle. But generally what I do is, you can see I've got a lift under there and one there. So I'll lift the battery off its trolley. Then I'll put 2 lifts on the trolley. So, and ideally with these bits of wood just to spread the weight, so it's not just on a couple of lifts. And basically what that means is I can obviously move it up and down with the lifts, and therefore 450 kilos each. So this battery is about 300, 350, something like that. So plenty of weight capacity, but also we can wiggle it around on the trolley. So we've got kind of movement and yeah, kind of movement up and down and forwards and backwards. So yeah, I could get a £5 battery lift table, but yeah, probably not worth it. So yeah, it's all good. So I'm gonna have a play with this. Need to drop a car down the road, a different car for MOT. at lunchtime shortly. But yeah, I think we'll hopefully get this in and drive it back to base today. That would be really good, actually. Lots to finish off inside, but yeah. Ooh. Someone's speeding around and having a good time. Right, cool. Okay, so let's get this battery with some lifts underneath it. That's what we're going to do next. Oh, right, I need a drink as well. Wowzers, let's do it. Well, I suspect I'm going to have an impressive headache shortly, given the heat. But this is actually going pretty well. So I kind of did what I said, really. I put it underneath, got my lifts. So you can see I've got the battery on a couple of lifts, and I had the lifts sort of yeah, either side, and then slid those ones under. It was just pretty cool. I had to wiggle it a little bit because it's got those little locating pins, I guess you call them. When you're close enough, they kind of slide in and it wiggles itself, and if you've got a bit of, you know, movement with the wheels, it will wiggle itself to the right place. So I've got some of the bolts in finger tight. It was a bit lower the other side because of the slope on the drive, so I just put one of my lifts over there and just leveled it up. Basically, the only issue I kind of had was I'd left these hydraulic jacks in here, and the battery was actually catching on the wood on the other side, so I had to just move that forwards. But yeah, no big dramas really. I kind of like to leave them whenever I've dropped the car. I just leave them because you've got an extra contact point. I don't want it to be on them solely, mainly because the wheel's got a parking lock on the front and a parking brake on the back, so that stops the car rolling away basically. But this is just extra stability, albeit it doesn't stop it sort of tipping over, so it's sort of useful, but you wouldn't want to totally rely on that. You see this one, I've got that on some, they're nailed together, those bits of wood, just to stop the roll, because that's got no gearbox, so we've got no parking lock on that one. So yeah, so cars that don't like a Miev or something, yeah, I don't know, later Zoe ZE50, that the front wheels on that will just spin because it doesn't have a parking lock. It has a parking brake at the rear, and that's it basically. So no parking lock, physical parking lock on a ZE50. So I would use my little decking board made anti-roll away devices. But anyway, yeah, this is pretty good. So I want to get some of these bolts in reasonably tight, and kind of most of the way in, and then get the battery connected up and just see that basically the car is happy. So I've tested this car, I think I said earlier, with another battery next to it, so I know the car works, but it'll just be it's just good to know it works, kind of, even though we've tested it and it works in this configuration. So yeah, cool. Right, so I'm just going to get this up a little bit more, get some bolts in it, get that connected up, test it, and go and have some lunch and cool off. Right, cool. Right, so connected up the connectors on the front, just did the service plug, no errors. Right, come on then, let's start it. There is a bit to do in here, but yeah, that's another story. There we go, ready mode. Cool, my word, it's warm in here. Right, and that means it is lunchtime. So these bits will need refitting. It was all just soaking wet down there, to be honest. And there was a bit of an issue with this gear selector, which I'm still kind of looking at. I'm not sure whether it needs replacing. I've got another one if necessary. But it's a bit of a pain, so we will do that if we need to. But, oh my word, it's alive. And I'm really hot. Boop, boop. Cool. There's still going to be a lot of tidying up to do because I've got this mess. I've got this battery. I'm just going to put that under there and bolt it up, basically. It's not going to be pretty. Yeah, and drag that round to mine and strip it for parts and then scrap the shell, basically. But yeah, that's a job for another day. That is at least yeah, the guy here can have his driveway back. So yeah, it's all good. Right, cool. Well, I'm pretty pleased with that. Yeah, I'll just tidy up. There is quite a bit still to do on this car. I need to find where I put the battery clamp. When I say that, it wasn't the one from the customer's car. This car didn't have one. It also didn't have this rubber bit and stuff like that, which I'm going to take off that car. But there was a battery clamp from that car, but I don't know where it's gone. But it was really rusty, so it's not great. But yeah, we'll get one from somewhere or another. I've got plenty of Zoes that I own. This customer could always borrow one if he wants me to supply it, and I'll just order one on eBay and then stick it back on the other of my cars when it gets here. But yeah, right, cool. The good thing as well, being on one block, is I can drive it off those blocks. So you just can slowly just roll off it and then stop and then move those blocks and then and then drive it home. Basically, it's got no MOT, but it's insured. It's on my trade insurance. So yeah, that's all good. All right, cool. My word. Right, I'm slightly relieved, but very warm. Time to tidy up, and I will catch you in a bit for some finishing off. Oh yeah. Right. Okay, it is very windy all of a sudden, but hopefully you can hear me. It's off the blocks. So yeah, I have torqued up all the battery bolts, removed all my lifts, got it down onto one block, drove it forward gently off, and just tidied up the blocks. And yeah, it's all good so far. Okay, it's only moved a foot forward, but it's alive. Sent the customer a video, customer is very happy. So just looking at things that need swapping over basically, because this car came from Co-Parts and surprise, surprise, there's bits missing on it. So I've just swapped over the aerial, both plastic under trays were missing, all the under tray bolts were gone, somebody had eaten them. There was the rubber bit. I mean, this is a real advertisement for buying a car from Copart. So this rubber trim, that 3-piece trim, that was all missing. There was only 2 bolts in these 4 and they were the wrong ones. So I actually used one of them for the under trays because one's correct, one's just a totally random, completely wrong bolt. There's more here that you can see here and here, but I mean, I could be here a year on this car. There's bits, so like under here, this is off. There's 1 clip here instead of 2, that one's the wrong way round. Yeah, no, I could be here all day. Oh yeah, I'm just going to put the wipers back on because I'd taken them off when I was investigating the leak. Yeah, I've put the trim, the foam back together around there that we had to take out and dry out. So yeah, it's alive, it works. I will take you for a little drive in a minute. But yeah, I'm just tidying up and getting things kind of where they need to be. So these are all the bits around the gear selector. Basically, when the vehicle had been recovered, this had been forced and it was all out of position. So yeah, I didn't know whether I'd have to swap this, but basically just by getting it back in the right position, it seems to be okay, but I'll give it a bit of a go. It's a little bit loose, but some of them kind of are like that. That's not uncommon, but I've got a spare one if necessary. It's not easy to change though. It's a really annoying job. So, and I kind of don't want to do anything that's not necessary just for the customer really. Yeah, so this is the emergency recovery, like push pin to put it into neutral if you're going to recover the vehicle. That's what it kind of looks like. So yeah, that's quite cool really. But yeah, man, it's alive. It's all good, isn't it? Right, cool. So I'm just going to get properly tidied up. I need to take that Zoe back to base and then I'll walk back and drive that one back. Yeah, man, it's all good. All right, cool. Catch you later. Okay, here we are. So I've just driven around the corner, going back to base, and let's take you for a spin. It drives all right. I did get one brief brake warning on the dash, but that's probably just because everything's really stiff and hasn't been used for a while. It's just sat around, but yeah, it goes all right. It's alive. So a bit of tidying up to do. So I did the under trays, moved lots of bits and bobs from the other car. In terms of finishing off, there's not that much really. It needs an AC regas. Yeah, not vast amounts, all this trim inside. So yeah, there was an issue with that gear selector. Yeah, I think that'll be okay. It seems to work okay. I'll give it some more tests just to make sure it's definitely all good, but it drives okay, this. It drives okay. Obviously it's going to need MOT and stuff, but knowing this customer, they will probably just get it back and arrange that themselves, just do the sort of final bits and bobs. And in my case, it's just sort of, you know, getting it running, kind of drivetrain stuff. But yeah, cool. It's all good, isn't it? No one bites the dust. All right, cool. Well, thank you for watching. It is very warm, and yeah, I'll do a bit of tidying up, and I think that will do me for today. All right, well, take care, and I will catch you later.